Okay, good afternoon, guys. Today we are going to learn about activity life cycle, how we are going to manage those activity life cycle. Okay, so in the activity life cycle, there will be a set of states will be there during the entire lifetime. Whatever the activity we will going to launch, so it goes under different states. Each activity goes with a different states from creation to destroy, from create to destroy states. Okay, so as the user interacts with your application, okay, or any other application on the Android devices, see different activities moves into different states. Okay, so as in this diagram, okay, so we will be in the start. There will be an activity one is in the foreground where it is in the launch. It is where the activity one is running, where it will be in the foreground. Activity one will be in the foreground. As soon as you start activity two, the activity one will be in the background and activity two will be in the foreground. Okay, so as soon as you navigate back, if you go back to the from activity 2 to activity 1, the activity 2 will get destroyed and the activity 1 will be in the foreground. So when these transition happens, it goes under different states. From activity 1, as soon as you launch activity 1, it goes under different state. If you launch activity 2, activity 1 will be under some transition, some set of states will be going on, and activity 2 will be having the different states of different states. So let's learn one by one. So activity state and life cycle callback methods. So when the activity transition in and out of a different life cycle states, okay, the Android system, whatever the Android system will be there, it is going to call life cycle, it is going to call several life cycle callback methods at each stages. So as soon as you click on the app, it will be on a one state life cycle, one state where it is going to call back life cycle. A callback method will be called. Okay, and as soon as you launch, one different callback method will be called. Okay, so all the callback methods you can override each of your activity classes. So whatever the activity class you are going to do, so there all the callback methods can be overridden. Okay, where so whatever the life cycle states will be there, whatever the callback methods will be there, so the state will be occurring to your activity, not the application. So if you launch one activity, so different states will be there and different callback methods will be called. And if you launch over that, if you launch another activity, so there will be a different states will be called and activity will go under different states and different callback methods will be called. See, as in the example, so the life cycle callback methods are create, started, resume, pause, stop, destroy, and restart. So these are all the different states where it undergoes as soon as you launch the activity. So how it is going to start? See, so let's first see about create. So that is when you create your app, so it is going to call on create callback method. Okay, this on create callback method. So in this on create callback method, you are going to override the on create method. Okay, on create method will be override. Okay, so what this state? So as soon as your activity enters into created state. So first time when you launch the app, it enters to the created state. Okay. So when the activity is first created, so as soon as the activity is first created, the Android system will call on create method. Okay. The Android will call on create method. So for example, if you tap the icon of your application, okay, from the home screen or whatever the screen you have Android device, if you tap on that application, the on create method is initialize the activity. Whatever the activity will be there, that is going to initialize by calling the on create method. Okay, so if you start another activity, so if you start another activity through an intent, if you start another activity through an intent, the system will matches with the intent request. So in the intent, whatever the request you have been made to call the another activity, so that system will match the intent request, whatever the request has been made from the activity one. So it is going to make a request through the intent and calls the onCreate method for the second activity. Okay. So this is the only callback method where you are going to, it is going to require in your application while you are developing an application. So this is a default application, default callback method you should use. Okay. Where this method is going to perform some basic operations. This method is going to perform basic operations, okay, like user interface, so assigning the variables or setting up the background task, whatever it is needed for your application, this method is going to do that. Where this created is a transient state. So this method is going to stay as long as the onCreate method will be there. So then, as soon as the onCreate method is called, then it moves on to the started. That is, will be in the visible state where it is going to call onStart method, where it is implemented through the override method that is onStart. Okay, this will be in a visible state. So after your activity is initialized with the onCreate method, what this onCreate method is going to initialize, the system calls onStart method. Okay, the system is going to call the onStart method, where in this method the activity will be in the started state. So as soon as the system calls this onStart method, the application will be in a started state. So if the onStart method is called if a stopped activity returns to the foreground. See, onStart activity will be called two times. So when you launch a new application, where in that activity it is going to create, and as soon as it is initialized by calling the onCreate callback method, then it is move on to the onStart method. Okay. So one more onStart callback method where you are going to call the onStart back method means callback method means when you have stopped your application and if you want to restart it, then it is going to call the onStart callback method, and it will be in the started state. Okay. So here, when an activity is in the started state, so as soon as your application is in the started state, so that activity will be visible on the screen. That activity will be visible on the screen, where in this state, in this started state, you cannot interact with your application. You cannot interact with your application. When you are going to interact with the application, as until it calls onResume callback method. Okay, onResume callback method. So so until it calls the onResume callback method, you cannot interact with the activity in the started state. So this will be visible, but you cannot interact. If you want to interact with the application, then it has to call the onResume callback. It has to call onResume callback method. So how to implement onResume callback method? So you need to override the onResume method. Okay, you need to override the onResume method. So here your activity is in the resume state when it is initialized, visible on the screen, and it is ready to use. So as soon as the system calls the onResume callback method, it moves on to the resume state where your application or the activity will be in a visible state and it is ready to use your application. So whatever the application you are using in your Android device, as soon as you start working, that will be in the resume state. So the system called the onResume callback method. So your activity will be in a visible state, and also it is ready to use your application. So the resume state is often called we call this resume state as a running state. So we can call this resume state as a running state. Because why we call this resume state as a running statements, user will be actually interacting with the application. So whatever the user is interacting with the application, that we will call as a running state or a resume state. So this on resume method will be called multiple times. So this on resume method can be called multiple times. Wherever you will be in a running state, you go back to the another activity where that particular activity will be the pause state. Again, if you want to go back to the activity one, again it is going to call the on resume method. Or your application will be in a stop it state. Again, you want back to that activity. So from one activity to activity 2 to activity 1, again it is going to call on start method. It initiates your application, your activity, and then it is going to call a on resume method. So till what time this on resume callback method will be there in the Android system? Okay, this resumed state or the running state will be there until your activity is in foreground. So which activity is in the foreground, that activity will be in a resume state or a running state where you can interact with the users. Where from this resume state, the activity can be moved to the pause state. The activity can be moved to the pause state where it is partially visible. So how you can implement the pause state? So by calling the callback method on pause, and you need to override it. Okay, you need to override the on pause method. So where this pause state occurs in several situations. So in pause state occurs in several situations. The activity is going into the background, but it is not fully stopped. Okay, so you have one activity and you want to you want to go to the next activity. So for example, if you have a button, you click on that button, it moves to the next activity, second activity. So where the activity one will be in the pause state, but the activity one will be in the background only, but it is not fully stopped. Okay. Next to situation is the activity is only partially visible on the screen. So from one activity to, see, you have opened browser, that is one activity, and you are opening WhatsApp. It is another activity. For example, if we consider that, okay, where the browser will be in the background task only, but it is not fully stopped until unless you go back to that. Okay, if you clear that application. One more situation where you are going to occur the pause state is multi-window or split screen window. If you are using a split screen mode or you are using a multi-window, the activity displayed on the screen and some other activity is in user focus. Okay. See, split screen window, what happens in the split screen window? We are using both the activity, right? See, one activity will be a pause state where it is partially visible, and another activity will be the user focus mode where the user is interacting with that particular activity. So in these scenarios, the pause state can occur. Okay. The on pause method where it indicates that the user is leaving the activity. For example, you are playing a video in any application, that is an activity where you move back to the another activity where that video is paused. That is, it means that your entire activity is going to be in a pause. So as soon as you move back to the same activity, it is going to call the on resume method. It will going to call the on resume method, and it will move back to the resume. Okay, it will move back to the resume. So whatever the on pause method is there should execute quickly. Okay, it has to execute quickly, that it has to. So here we are not going to use this on pause method for CPU intensive operations like that. If you are going to persist data to the database, then you should not use this on pause method. See what happens. See, for example, there are two activities, activity 1 and activity 2. So in the activity one, you from the activity one, if you want to move back to the activity two, so it has to go back to the, it has to call the on pause callback method. It has to call the on pause callback method as quickly as possible so that you can move to the activity two. So there should be no delay when calling back the on pause callback method. Okay, so it means that the user transition to the next activity should be quickly done. Okay, so why? So if you are active, for example, you have a WhatsApp application and you want to upload a status, then you move back to the another activity called gallery. So as soon as you click on the status to upload a status, how many fraction of times it takes? So when you're going back to the gallery mode, the WhatsApp activity will be in a paused state where your gallery will be on create, on start, and on resume. So in a fraction of second, it should call all these callback methods. Okay. As soon as you go back from second activity, that is gallery, to the WhatsApp, what happens? WhatsApp will not again start with on resume. Remember that WhatsApp will not start with on create, on start, and on resume. On start, where directly it moves to the, it calls the on resume callback method, and it will be in a resume. Okay, it will be in a resume. So next is after pause state, we can move to the on stop method. Stop it state. How you are going to implement the stop it state? So you need to override a method called on stop so that here this activity will be in a hidden state. So it will be the stop state, that is our activity will be in a hidden state. So an activity is in a stop state means it is no longer visible on your screen. So that means that your activities cannot able to see on your home screen. So because the user has started another activity or the user may return to the home screen. So that is the thing. So where if your activity is in a stop it state means you are going to call a callback method called on stop callback method, where this your activity will be in a back stack. That is, it will be in a stack where the activity is not displayed on the screen. That's it. Remember that the activity will be in a stop it. If your activity is in a stop it state, then it is going to call on stop callback method, but the activity is not killed. Okay, the activity is not killed. Just activity will be in a back stack. It will be in a stack. See, if you go back to the stack and if you use that, so whatever the activity you have been closed, you have been stopped, where you can restart that. Okay, you can restart that activity by calling the on restart method. So where this on restart method go back to the on start method and it will move to the started state. This started state will call back the on resume callback method and it will be in a resume state. Okay, and it will be in a resume state. Okay, understood. So next is destroy. Next is destroy. Okay, so if you want to destroy an activity from the device, what you are going to do, you need to implement on destroy method. Okay, you need to override on destroy method. You need to override on destroy method. So what is this on destroy method? So when your activity is destroyed, it means that your activity is completely gone out of the memory. Okay, there is no activity in the back stack. It means that if you have called on destroy callback method, it means that whatever the activity you have been using or you have been paused state or it is in a stop it state, if you call the on destroy callback method, then the particular activity will be not in a backstack or in any memory of your Android OS operating system. Okay. So when this happens, it happens in several cases. You can call this this on destroyed state will be in a several cases where you can call finish so that manually shut down it, or if you go back through the navigation, if the user navigates the back, it will go back to the previous state where previous state activity 1 where activity 2 is destroyed, or in your Android OS if there is any low memory situation. So some of the Android devices you may have come across that if you have a less memory, then Android OS will automatically deletes this activity which is in the background. And if you change any configuration, if there is any changes occurs in the configuration, then this state may occur. This destroyed state may occur. So it means if you use on destroy method, it fully clean up your activity. So there is no running activity and all the activity will be get destroyed. Okay, all the activity will fully destroyed. So once again, if you open the application newly means, if you open the application newly, then what happens? Again, it has to start from on create. It has to start from, it has to call on create callback method and it will be in a created state. This again, it will call the on start callback method. It will be in a started state where it is not, it will be visible but not able to interact with the users. Once it is called the on resume callback method, it will be in a resume state where the user can interact with the resume state. So once the user wishes to move back to the another activity or another application, it calls the on pause method, and that particular activity will be in paused state and it will be in a partially visible. So and the partially visible and it move back to the second activity. When it is second activity, when you open the second activity, what does the life cycle will be? So second activity life cycle will be on create, on start, and on resume. Okay. So if you stop the second activity, it has to call on stop method. Okay, it will be in a stop it state. So once you destroy that second activity, again it has to call on restart, on start, on resume, and it will first activity will be in the resume state. So if you want to implement this on start, how you are going to implement? You need to override a method on restart. You need to override a method on restart. So what does this on restart mean? So this on restart is a transient state. So this will be occur only if your application is stopped. If you want to start the stopped application, okay, if for example, if your activity in a stopped state, if you want to restart that application, okay, or the activity, then you can call the on restart callback method. So this on restart callback method, this on restart callback method will be in between on start callback method and on stop callback method. Remember that on restart callback method will be in between the on start callback method and the on stop callback method. If you have destroyed your application, you cannot restart it. You should create it. Okay. So let's see with one example, I will tell you how you need to understand this about the activity life cycle. So I will tell a scenario so where it can be easily understood. Say for example, so there is an activity where you are going to use, where you are there is two activity. Consider there is main activity. Main activity, I will say it as MA, and from that main activity, you need to go for second activity. I will say it as SA. Okay, how this states occur? How the state will going to occur? So as soon as you click on the application main activity, what are all the methods you are going to call? First one is the main activity So from the main activity, you are going to call on create method. Then in the main activity only, next method will be called on start. Then main activity on resume. Okay, on resume. So it means that your main activity is ready to use and interact with the user. Okay. So next, you want to go. So think that there is a button in this main activity. So there is a button in this activity. So it takes to second activity. Okay. So in this, user is interacting with the button so that it has to take to the second activity, which method is going to call. So then what happens? This main activity will be called on pause callback method. Then second activity will come into existence that it is going to call on create and on start. Okay, on start. Then what second activity will do? On resume method. Okay, on resume method. So now your main activity will be is in pause state, and your second activity is in resume state. Okay, resume state. So in this resume state, the user wishes to go back to the main activity. The user wishes go back to the main activity. So what happens? Second activity will call on pause callback method. So as per this, the second activity will call on pause. Then it will go to the on stop. So then main activity come into existence on restart. Okay, on restart. What happens on restart callback method? Again, the main activity go through the on start callback method. Again, the main activity will call on resume callback. Okay, so here the second activity is going to stop and it is going to destroy. To go back, it will destroy. Okay, so it will be a main activity. So if you once you close the main activity, what happens from the resume state to main activity? So if you want to close the main activity also, what does it go from on pause? It will call the on pause callback method. Again, the main activity will call on stop callback method. Again, the main activity will call on destroy callback. You need to know, as a Android developer, we should know the activity lifecycle so that there will be a proper interaction with the different activities in your application. So we should be aware when the activity will be called, from when the activity will be closed, when the activity should be resumed, when we need to start the activity. Okay, this is just an example to understand about the life cycle of an activity and callback methods. So next is configuration changes and activities. Okay, configuration changes and activities. So we know that Android on destroy. So if you want to destroy an activity, we will call an on destroy callback method. So where the activity will be destroyed, or you can call manually by calling the finish method. Okay, where if you do that, the system will be free with the memory. The free resources will be, the resources will be deleted. Okay. So whatever the activity is destroyed when the device undergoes a configuration change. So if you've done any configuration changes, the system will be, the activity will be destroyed. So when the configuration changes occurs on device in runtime, the configuration changes occurs on the device in runtime, invalidate the current layout or the other resources in your activity. The most common form of configuration change. So when this configuration changes occurs, the commonly when you rotate the device from portrait mode to landscape. So whenever the user rotates the device from portrait to landscape or vice versa, what happens? The layout of your application will going to change. It means the configuration will be changed. So when we are developing, we will be taking care of all these scenarios. Okay. So the system, what happens if you rotate from portrait mode to landscape mode? The system recreates the activity. Okay. And the activity is adapt to the new configuration by loading the alternative resources. For the landscape mode, what all the resources are required, it is going to load that alternative resources as a new configuration, and the system will going to recreate your activity. So as a user they don't know that, so it just they will take from portrait mode to landscape mode, they will think the application or the activity will be as it is. But Android OS, what does it do? It recreates your activity, and it trying and it whatever the activity has been recreated, it is going to adapt by loading the alternative resource. Okay, by loading the alternative resource. So it means when a configuration changes occurs, the Android system shut down your activity. So whatever the activity which is in the portrait mode, the Android system or the OS will shut down your activity. So how it is going to shut down? By calling on pass, on stop, and on destroy callback method, and then starts it over by calling on create, on start, and on resume. Okay, this is the configuration thing. So next is insta activity, instant state. So when an activity is destroyed or recreated, so there will be so many changes in the runtime state. So when an activity is destroyed or recreated, there may be so many implications or any changes in the runtime state of that particular activity. So let's see, when an activity is paused or stopped. Okay, when an activity is paused, it will be in a pause state, or when an activity is in a stopped state, the state of the activity is retained. Okay, because why? See, if you have destroyed or recreate, if you have destroyed, there is no activity which is running in the back, which is there in the back stack or in the background. Okay, when your activity is in a paused state or a stopped state, the state of the activity will be as it is. The state of the activity will be retained because the activity will be in the memory. It means that it is in a backstack. Okay, it's still the activity is in the memory. Okay, so that's why the state of the activity is retained. When an activity is recreated, what happens? The state of activity, any user progresses, the activity is lost. So if you want to recreate the activity, whatever the activity state will be there, that will be lost. Okay, but there are some exceptions where you are not going to lose the data. So these exceptions means some activity state information, whatever the state information will be there, that is automatically saved by default. But where the state of information will be, activity state information will be saved by default. Where that is going to done automatically by the operating Android operating. The state of views in your layout with a unique ID. So what does this unique ID? So where you are going to use the unique ID, that is Android colon ID attribute, where this unique ID is going to save and restore when an activity is recreated. Okay, when an activity is recreated. So for example, you have an edit text, okay, where the edit text will be having an unique ID, where you will be having a unique ID. You have typed something and you move back to the another activity where after the you move back to the another activity. So from another activity you want to move back to the original activity. So where you have an edit text, where through the id, through the unique id, whatever the information you have been typed, that will be saved and it will be restored when your activity is recreated. That is one exception. And second exception is the intent that was used to start an activity. The intent that was used to start an activity. Use it to, so where whatever the information is stored through the intent data or the intent extra, so those information will be available in your activity once you recreate your activity. These are two exceptions. So how you are going to save activity instance state? So if you want to save information to the instance state bundle, we need to use a callback method on save instance state. Okay, on save instance state, where this method is not a life cycle callback method, where it is not a life cycle callback method. So if you come across a life cycle callback method, means it's an activity life cycle callback method. Okay, so but it is called, this method is called when the user is leaving your activity, or sometimes the user may stop the method. So this method will be called before the on stop method. Okay, the user is leaving your activity and you should be calling this method before the on stop method. Okay, so how you are going to implement? You need to override on save instance state with passing the bundle, with passing the bundle. Okay, where this bundle object will take key value pairs. It's a collection of key value pairs. So this is just an example. This diagram, this picture is just an example where on states instance state bundle save instance state. It's an object of the bundle where you are using put int is a key and a value. Okay, key and a value. So after saving it, how you are going to restore that activity instance state? So how we can get those information? How we can restore that information? So once you have saved activity instance state, you also need to restore it when activity is created. Okay, so activity is recreated. We need to have those information, whatever the activity state has been saved. Okay, we need to restore that. So how we can do? We can do in two places, where in the on create callback method or on restore instance state callback method. Okay, what the on create callback method means? So where this method is called with the instance state bundle when the activity is created. So as soon as you create a project in the Java code, so required method is on create callback method, that will be there as a skeleton, where it is passing an argument with the bundle. So which is called instance state bundle when the activity is created. Next is on restore instance state callback, where this method is called after on start callback method, after the activity is created. We need to call this method if we are restoring the instance state. Okay, we need to call on restore instant method, where we need to call this method after the on start callback method. Okay, we need to call this on restore instant method after the on start callback method. So most of the time, better we need to use on create callback method only rather than on restore instance. Where why we need to use this on? Why better to create we need to restore in the on create callback method means. So in this on create callback method, what it ensures that user interface, whatever the interface, whatever the thing is there, it is going to initialize all the things. Okay, that's why it's better to use restore the instance state in the on create callback method. So how we are going to do? Okay. So this is how you are going to restore activity instance state. Okay. So how we are going to do? This is how the code, where in the on create method you will be passing a bundle saved instance state, where first we need to check whether the bundle is null or not, whether there is no information or not. We need to check that bundle with an object. So then we are going to restore the value of members from the state. Thank you.